So I want to go ahead and I want to add some more details in our user. Okay. So instead of only these three, I'll add some more. Okay. So let's say full name is there, and also we should be adding like address. Okay. Then we shall be adding like city, and then we shall go like, let's say, for example, state. Then we shall even go like, let's say, country and things like this. And make it like 10. Age, I'll go like age. Nice. So once I do so, now what I'll do is that I have to migrate this once again, right? So I'll just go ahead and migrate this particular thing. So okay, Python. Exactly the commands I had written yesterday, the same commands I'm writing once again. Now what I have to do that we have got all these fields. I want to display all these fields in our user detail.html. So you can see if I come back, we have got user full name, username, password, and all those things. I'll just copy this. So you've got all these things. Let me try to run this particular project. Let us try to figure out that whether this particular thing is actually working or not. Okay. How do you run a server? Nobody remembers. It is Python manage.py run server. That's it. See, now all the details are coming. If I come here, I click on let's now. Of course, Vaishnavi, there is still no password. No, these things are not given. Therefore, it is unable to take. The thing is, this particular thing is actually working out. So if we add some more data over there, right? So, and that data will be coming with this particular thing. Now, what we want to do is that, if you remember yesterday, we had added the data. So let us try to do it from console itself once again, just to see how we can use it. So I'll go like, I'll break this and we shall go like python manage.py shell. And here I'll start working. So from, I'll say user library dot models import user. Once I do so, then I can go ahead and I can write down things. Say user and user, and within parentheses, I'm writing things. Okay. So let us open up user. Let us see what all things we have. Username equals to, let's say, for example, Vishal. Password equals to, let's say, V, small v. Full name equals to, let's say, Vishal Singh. Then let's say age equals to, let's say, 52. City equals to, let's say, Bangalore. State equals to, let's say, Karnataka. And country equals to, let's say, India. I'm going like, what was that name? User one. Yeah, I'm going like user one dot save. Now if I come back, acha, let me exit this shell. Now if I come back and if we run it, you got this option also. See, all the data are coming. Vishal Singh and every single thing, right? So now until this point, we have got all the data from the backend we're getting. Now we have to figure out a way where we can put the data directly from the front end. We'll be writing something over there that will automatically go and sit in the backend. So that is like, if you remember, yesterday I was talking about the CRUD operation. So we have the create, read, update, and delete. So now this is like create, read, update, and delete. So we have got just the read part, right? We have not yet got any create part or let's say update part. We have not yet seen anything. We have just seen that how to create something. Now, how to delete something, how to update something, all those things we have to learn slowly. Okay. So let us go ahead and let us try to see if we can somehow make use of a HTML form and through which we can write down something and we can ultimately do some the complete cloud operation basically, right? So basically cloud operation using Django, SQLite, etc. So let's try to do that. Now here see, first of all, I shall be requiring to have an HTML page because if I do not have an HTML page, then the problem is that I cannot really go ahead and I cannot enter some data. So let me quickly create an HTML page, then I have to connect it with my project. So first I'll create an HTML page. I'll start with creating an HTML page. I'll just kind of copy this page itself and paste it once again and change some data. I'll call this user input .html. In user input.html will go like this. Oh, I wrote everything as password. I'll just change it. So it's full name, age, city, state, and country. And the same things I'll paste here also. Okay, now here what I shall do, instead of labeling this, because I don't want to label anything over here, what I want to do is that I'll call this user input. I don't want to label. I want to just simply put an input box. Input. Now these are all HTML design. You as a let's say Django developer or something, Python developer, you do not need to do these things. But of course, I do not have a front end developer over here, so I myself have to write down everything. There's some writing down. Otherwise, you don't need to go ahead and do these things at all. Okay. So now let us go ahead and let us quickly try to write down something. Let's say type equal to text. That means we are expecting a text over here. That's it. Also, if you notice this thing, the models here. So these are the maximum lengths, right? So that also I will mention over here. Max length equals to 10. Okay. In the same way, I'll be entering it everywhere. Now, username and password, max length is 10, name, full name is 40. So let me make it 40 for full name. Age is 3, maximum length. Then comes your city, state, country. 40, 40, 10. 40. City and state is 40 and 40. Oh my god. There is no requirement of that big. We can make it 10 is more than enough. Or let's say now, Thiruvananthapuram, big names are there. Let's make it 40. Not an issue. And countries 10 only. So if I make this HTML file and I'll put a input type submit as well. Now when you create this, it actually looks nice. but we have to always put it in a form tag. In form, we have to write some parameters. I'll come to that. As of now, let me just write this much. So now what happened? This acts like a user form. So just like user have to do form fill up, right? So similarly, this particular thing looks like a user form. Now here in the views, I have to basically create a new function for that, right? So def user input request. Sure. Now here what I have to do, see, I'm basically creating a new user object, right? I'm not uh, fetching any object or anything. I am myself creating a new user object. So if I am creating a new user object, let's say, if you come to our user, which is defined in our models class over here, so you can see all these elements, whatever you're taking, that is being accepted by this particular thing. Now, if we want to accept a form, we cannot directly do it on the user. We have to create something called a user form, right? I mean, whatever it is, you have to create a form of that model form basically. So for that, we have to create a new file over in a Python file. I'm going to call that thing forms.py. Okay, forms.py. In this forms.py, I have to write down certain things. First of all, from Django, import forms. That is the first thing we have to do. And after that, from user library.models import user, because I want to take a form and bind the user with it, right? So user and form I want to take together. So both I'm taking over here, and I'm creating a new class called, let's say, user form, okay, and which takes the form dot model form, okay, and we are writing over there. So now what you need to write over here, see, it's very straightforward. Class, you have to enter just a meta section. Meta section means what? Means how will the data get filled up over there? That's what you need to say. So model equals to, you have got user, means we are telling that the model we are getting trying to create over here is going to be of the type user, and which all fields of user we shall be taking. Fields equal to, we'll be taking all the fields of user, underscore underscore all underscore underscore. This is how you write it. Okay, I think the space I need to give. This is how you do it. So you're saying that I'm trying to create a user form, okay, which is taking from forms model form. So from here it is inheriting. And there I want to create another class within that called meta, which simply takes the model name and the fields. This is the syntax. This is how you have to do this particular thing. Once you write this, you are more or less good to go. So now coming back to our views, right? User input we are taking over here. Now see, typically when we try to submit a form, we submit in post request. So there are two sorts of requests. One is known as get request, which is used for fetching data. One is known as post request, which is used for saving data. So we'll go for post request. So here we have to write down method equals to post. Means we are trying to save data. We are not trying to fetch anything, saving it. So here I have to say if request.method equals to post. If that is happening, then what I want to do, I want to, let's say my form is going to be form equals to, acha, I need to import the user form as well. That's it. This is all you need to do, right? So now we have to see if the form is valid or not. So if form dot is valid, means if the form is given correctly, then what I want to do? I want to do a Form save means I want to save this particular form, right? Means whatever data is coming, the data I want to save. Okay, that's what I want to do. But there is a particular problem with save. Save should not be written simply. We should always put a try except. Now, if you remember, we already talked about try except, right? We had to put a try except over here. So you will try to save the form. If something goes wrong, then what we shall do? We'll pass. Pass means what? Means carry forward, right? And if we can save the form correctly, then I want you to come back to the home page, right? I want you to come back to the home page. So what we shall do? We shall be writing return redirect, and here we shall be writing. Acha, I have not imported redirect. I want to go back to the home page, which is slash user underscore library. Okay, there was a lot of things that we have done. So now let us try to see if this thing can be worked upon. I've add a new entry over here. Let's say in the URLs, I'm going to add a new entry for example, I'll call it uh, add. Okay. Let us see if this thing works. Okay. It looks like I have to stop and start the server. Okay, add doesn't work. Let me see what is going wrong. Oh, I forgot to render. I forgot to render the page over here. That's what is not working out. So typically, what you need to do, you need to go ahead and you need to render, right? So the rendering is not being done when the user input request is coming. Okay. So, acha, wait a second. Let me try one thing, another thing. I'll go for an else case. Where I'll take a else means what? Means if request method is post means it is get. If we do a get request, then I want to render this page, let's say. Which HTML user input.html. Now let us see what happens. And here we go. When we are saying add, we're just writing anything you write on the URL bar and press enter, that will always be a get request. It is always a get request. Post request can only be done when you click these buttons and you have mentioned that it has to be post in this sort of cases, right? So where is that? Here. But normally when you write on the URL bar, it is going to be a get request. So what happened when you first time wrote in the URL bar, it did not match. It matched with this one, else part. So that is why what happened, it returned this line. It gave the request user input dot html. This is what happened. So I wrote add. It matched with add that it has to call the user input, views dot user input. It came to views user input. It found out the request is a get request. It came over here. Okay, that's what has happened. Fine. Let's say I'm filling up something. I'm writing a username of, let's say, for example, let's say Ganesh. Password I'm writing as GA, for example. Full name is, let's say, Ganesh something. Ganesh K, for example. Age is, let's say, for example, 23. City is, for example, Hyderabad. State, for example, is Telangana, and let's say country is India. I'm submit query. Let us see. Okay, it got failed, right? So let us try to figure out what went wrong. Okay, cross-site request project, CSRF. You need to ensure your browser accepting cookies. This is a browser issue. Templates render method. Hmm. Wait a second. Okay. So it is asking to add this particular template tag as a child of the form element within my Django template. Basically, it means that here we have to add this thing under form. Sorry, here. That's it. Nothing else. This should work out. Let us see if it refreshes itself. Or else we have to run the server once again. Come back over here and do a get request. Again, write down Ganesh GA Ganesh K. Age is, let's say, 12. Cities, let's say Hyderabad, Telangana, India. Oh, again there is a problem. Okay. So now see, we are finding out. It says value error. Value error is an exception, right? We know this exception. I have seen this thing. So this particular thing is getting a value error. Let us try to see where it is telling. It is telling that it returned none instance. It did not return an HTTP response object. Okay. So when it tried to store, run it, it didn't quite work out. So let us try to find out where it went wrong. Where is the line number? Okay, now these line numbers will not help us. View library user input did not return an HTTP response. It is happening over here. Let us check once if this has been done. No, it has not been added. Okay. So here it is telling that I did not return a render because I was redirecting to user library, which is, I think I have to just redirect to blank or something. Okay. We can do something like this here also. Let me just do this just for the time being. Let us see what is happening. Anything I am putting. Okay, it's filling. All right, so it looks like, let us try to figure out. So here, is it reaching or not? How to understand this? See, I will over here, right? So first of all, in each of the places, I'll just put a print statement. I'll say that, let's say, this is, let's say, one, okay, two, three, and it's saying that how many things will be printed. Four. This much is happening, and if it is coming here, right? So we'll be able to see that. Five. Let us stop and start it. Let us look at the console. My console is lost. Find out my console. I cannot see my console so that I can see the output. Favorite structure. Python console here. Oh, I'm not looking for this one. Where's my output console? I don't see that. Anyway, that's fine. So let's try to find out once again. Let me see where it is getting blocked. Is it? I think it's a browser issue. Okay, something is going wrong because it is not coming here. Let me do one thing. I think it is coming to the accept state. I'll do one thing. These things are unnecessary. Okay, I think it is not coming over here. If this is going wrong, this is going false probably. Let me add a breakpoint over here. So this breakpoints will help us in debugging basically. I don't know if it will by default take up debugging or not, but let us see. These debugs are not on. I have to figure this out because I don't know why this thing is getting blocked. When I'm trying to save the form save is also not happening probably. So it comes to accept, then it goes to pass. I'll do one thing. Here I'll return something else just to see whether it is working or not. No, it's getting failed. What if I directly now let me check it out. Now it is working. So this return statement was required at the end. Let me check out one thing. Now I have to check one thing actually. So whether it is actually taking place or not. No, it is not. That is the problem. That here it is coming back over here. That's fine. But this one, if it reached over there, the return would have been done from here itself, which is missing. Which is missing in the sense this particular form in the database is not getting saved. So here something is going wrong in this place. User from form request post. Here it is going wrong. If form is valid, I think this thing is not working out. The form is coming as invalid over here, and that is the reason that why this particular thing is not working. We will do one thing. This return statement it was asking for, so it is done. But it was asking this return only because it is not entering here. It is throwing me some exception. That is why it is asking for that particular return, nothing else. Otherwise, it would have got a return from here directly. This guy also, he did the same thing. Here he is returning something. But the question is that why is this thing not working? Why is it not getting saved? It's not getting saved. Let me see how the request is coming. User request, user library slash add post request. It is coming. 200 is the done. Okay. So here a post request came. So that post request was served properly. It is telling. If the request is post from user, it should return from here. It should not come till here. If it is coming till here, that means that is why I did not add this line earlier. Because if you have to add this, that means something is breaking here. But here it should work. So why should it even go there? It should never go there. Wait a second, let me try to figure it out. Why this thing is going wrong? It is breaking probably because of the HTML page itself, because the HTML page itself is not correct. I will tell you what is happening. See, when we are trying to create a HTML page, we are missing. This is a problem. Okay, listen. What we are missing over here is basically in the form that we have created. We did not write down the name parameter. I think the name parameter should be included over here to make sure that this particular thing works out. So let me see that. It is problem with the HTML page, not with our code. Our code is perfectly fine. I mean, I don't even need this one. I think the code is perfectly fine. The issue is happening because of this input page, this one. When I'm creating this page, I'm nowhere telling that this field data should go and sit somewhere, right? So this username should go and sit in the uname value that I am not yet telling it. It should go and sit in the username that I have not yet told it. So I need to tell it, right? I need to absolutely go and tell that. So let me write it down over here. Name equals to username. Name equals to, it is called name equals to, okay? You have to write down the field name, which I've missed. So it does not know which field corresponds to which field. Full name, then comes age. Now this should work out. Sorry, name equal to city. Here name equal to state. Country, right? That's what it is. Name equal to country. Now let us try to check it out whether it is working or not. Restart the server. Okay, and here we go. We have the data over here, SDF, right? Coming with all the data. So now see, this redirect also worked actually. This one actually worked. Full name index.html. So I don't want to do it like this and return a redirect. I'll say that please redirect it to slash user underscore library. That's it. So then what will happen? It will go over there. So basically, see, this was the problem. The problem was not with my code, but with the HTML file that it did not mention the name parameters. Name parameters will be connecting. Like this name goes and sits in this particular thing, right? So like that. So the connectivity has to be established between which field is corresponding to which field in the actual code. The code was correct. It was failing because of this. Now that we have done it, so when you add a new user, so now I can put an add user button over here. So I'll come to this one, user folder index, and I'll put a add user button at the end. See what I shall do. I shall create a this kind of only. See, we have a add new user button over here. Okay, so it doesn't look like a button; it's more like a link, but we can make it a button kind of. Do it like this. Start looking like a button. let's say now I'm adding a new user with the name. For example, username is, let's say, Niket. Password is, let's say, Niket itself. Full name is Niket Paul. Age is, let's say, 35. City is, let's say, for example, Thiruvananthapuram. State is Kerala. Country is India. Submit query. See, I'm getting the data, right? But you can see this is working. So now you can keep on adding as many users as you want, and it will keep on adding in the database. So this played the major role basically. I didn't remember of the HTML file. I was only thinking about my, the backend logic. The backend logic is perfectly fine. Okay, now that once these things are done, then you can actually go for. So that is you create and read. Two things we did, and today we're creating the data. So you can keep on creating as many number of data you want. Right. So new users will be created. If you open them up, you will see all the user details is coming. Right. If you want, you can make it look even better. That will be looking even much more good. See, if I come over here, user index and all those things, I can do wonderful things over here. I can start a table. If you start a table, this is just front end coding. You don't need to necessarily do it. I'm doing it so that it looks good, nothing else. So it's a like table. In table structure, what happens? So every time you're writing something, that will come under a TR. TR means what? Table row. So I'm creating a table row, and within that I'm pasting it. Sorry, it ended over here. It's coming like this, and we can put table border also. Let's say border equals to 1 pixel solid black. It's coming like this, right? So you can just do this kind of wonderful things with this, right? So there are a lot of things you can do over here, basically. Anyway, so there are a lot of things you can do basically. So let's not get into everything. The style over here, I'm writing like padding is, let's say, 10 pixel, right? So the button will become a little bigger, and if I want, let's say here also in this table also, I want kind of margin style equals to margin. So I'm writing it's a 10 pixel. So that'll kind of come in the center kind of thing. So these kind of things you can do. You can make it look as good or as bad as you want. It is completely on your choice. What you will do with them. So it's coming like this. And add new user you do. So this one also, here you click, this comes like this. So this one also, if you want to do, you can do it in a better way. You can actually put them in a table row and all those things. So you can just pull it table once again. End the table at the end over here. And here you do not need these beers. The beers you can delete. Okay, I just deleted all the beers over here, and I can actually push these guys a little bit in. I'll put a tier. So exactly like this, you have to do it. And if you do it in this way, it will be done off. And in between, you have to paste these two. So now if I do so, now if you refresh this page, come back here and open up a user. See, now it is coming like this a little bit, in a better way. So you can go ahead and you can just put like border solid 1 pixel, solid, let's say black. If I do so and I refresh the page, comes like this kind of designing we can do. But anyway, it is not about the designing, it is more about the functionality when you're learning Django. So designing can be done, functionality is more important. Do for everything. So, and also when I'm taking the user input there also, we can actually play this game over here, right? So it will be looking wonderfully good. We'll do so. Here also you can actually go ahead and you can play like that. So TR, TD, etc., etc. All these things. This all, and here I want to just paste this one. Okay. Then here it will come like whenever you're pressing TR, I want to replace it with it's a TR, TD. This also together we can operate. Wherever we have input starting. So I want to kind of go for slash get input. Okay. And this one wherever it is ending. So basically what happened just now, it just became a little bit better looking. That's it. Nothing else. So if I now go and if I refresh this page of, let's say, add, see that it is coming like this. So you can light here, you can light here. It just looks good, nothing else. So you can actually completely do this thing completely like this. If you want to submit query, you can push outside of the table if you want to. Right? Now it looks very good basically. So this is the idea more or less. You can go and you can play with the things as much as you can. You can completely stylize them. But these things you do not need to necessarily do. Okay. I'm doing it just because it looks when it looks good, it feels better to work. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. There is no other reason why I should do it. And your home page remains as it is, right? So as everything should be working still. Let's say I'm writing a new user with the name this one. Still, it should work out. See, it is working out.